Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Restaurants Reinvented. We are here with our first episode of 2024. I can't believe it's actually March already. I don't know about y'all, but I have no idea where this year has gone so far. So here we are in 2024, and we are summarizing some of our best, most popular sound bites from 2023.
Welcome to Restaurants Reinvented, the podcast for restaurant executives where we go beyond the four walls of the store and talk about industry, trends, strategies, and challenges that the C-suite tackles every day. Your host is Jen Kern, a career marketer across multiple industries and the CMO of QBeyond. Now let's get started.
We're going to cut 3 short episodes with the top sound bites around 3 topics that have been trending and continuing to trend into this year. One is AI. That's what I'm going to kick off today with. The second one is around data unification. Spoiler alert, it's not just about the unification, it's about activation of the data. And the third is modern platforms. But today we are going to jump right in and hear some of our brilliant guests talk about top AI trends. So, as a preview to AI, let me just say that artificial intelligence in restaurants will undoubtedly at some point revolutionize our industry. I don't think anyone is going to quibble about that, but we have not quite arrived at that day yet. In fact, most restaurant operators are in the wait and see mode when it comes to AI. They're waiting for a lot of the marquee, larger brands with larger budgets to test out the AI use cases, and they're waiting for the cost to come down. As of now, the largest applications of AI are happening in the drive-thru with voice ordering and with reporting and analytics. And hopefully soon we'll see it with predictive analytics. We use that in our Notify app. But I think predicting demand is where we really could see the use of AI. Robotics, although we see a lot of media hype about it, it's really not that broadly used. So it's no longer a question of whether we should incorporate AI into our technology stack, but it's really more about how we can use AI to increase efficiency and reduce costs, not replace humans, but make humans more efficient. Integrating AI is not just about automating tasks, but also automating and augmenting human capabilities, creating a more symbiotic relationship between technology and human workers. So some of the brilliant guests that we're going to hear from that were on the show last year, you'll hear today, are Richard Shank. He's the VP of Innovation at Technomic, now a Winsight company, which is now Informa company. And he talked about human redundancy and having a failover plan when the AI can run amok. And his analogy is quite interesting, which is like the beepers in our cars. So, when you start like swerving into another lane and your car starts beeping, well, it's sort of that same sort of thing. If you're using AI in your restaurant, it's not quite working, maybe there's like a little beeper that goes off and a human jumps in when the AI is failing. So we'll hear from Richard Shank. We'll also hear from Darian Bates, the founder at Four Top Solutions, and he talks about how human oversight is also very critical because it has a positive impact on the customer experience and the employee morale. So he talks about more thoughtful and ethical applications of AI when it comes to shaping the future of our industry. And last, as a soundbite, we'll hear from Bobby Yazdani, who's one of our lead investors here at Q. And he introduces and talks about this next phase of technology growth that we're heading into, which he calls the cognitive era. And he says that AI should act as a co-pilot, aiding in business processes and decision-making. But we're going to kick it off with none other than the well-known Phil Crawford, the CTO at CKE. And he talks about the inside scoop on how he's piloting voice AI in the drive-thru. So let's get started, and here's Phil Crawford.
Yeah. So, AI is a big word. There's a lot of things that are underneath AI. You mentioned Chat GPT. So we're looking at leveraging AI in 2 facets. First and foremost, I mentioned it inside the restaurant at the drive-thru. We've got it deployed in about 30 restaurants right now, both corporate and franchisee. You pull up into a Carl's or Hardee's in certain markets where it's been tested, and you're actually talking to a machine using natural language processing or NLP, right? It takes your order. It's consistent. It always does the upsells. It injects your order into the point of sale. And the beauty part about it is you have a high level of accuracy over 90% accurate going into the point of sale system through direct integration.
Mm-hmm.
But it also then benefits the consumer because they can see the accuracy. There's less of an issue with language barriers because the models have gotten so well. Think when you talk about your own home devices, how
Yeah.
well they understand you, although they're always listening, as we all know.
Yeah.
And then vice versa for the employees, they get away from some of the most mundane tasks, which is talking to folks through drive-through.
Yeah.
Right? How often you're going through a drive-through, you get somebody that might be having a bad day. We all have them. Right? This delivers a consistent message, and it really allows the employee to focus on what they do best, which is make the product,
Yeah.
right? And meet and greet people at the drive-through window.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one way we're leveraging AI, and we're seeing some amazing returns on that. The other side of it is really looking at the AI machine learning on the back end through our new instances of Snowflake and other reporting solutions, so we can start building models and do proactive algorithms that take a lot of the human element, because we all know like quantum computing is out and very prevalent now, can do and process a lot more information and come to amazing results if you train these models correctly. And both of that is using intelligence. And the crazy part is it's already in our lives in so many ways, artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Like it's in our day-to-day lives. It's in other industries rapidly around. It's in loyalty programs. Like it's all over. I think it's becoming the forefront because we're now expanding outside of our comfort zones of how it actually affects the hospitality side of our business. And it needs to complement the business. It can't, go in and there are solutions out there that talk about robotics that make burgers or make fries, right? But it actually it does alienates, for lack of a better term, the human element that I think it needs to complement. So when we think about that very heavily when it comes to AI in our business, and again, how does it go back as a complement to the business? I think also important with artificial intelligence is we're at the early cusp of it inside of our business.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of leg room. So you're right, 70% at the OLO conference I was just at, they mentioned a lot of folks saying we're really experimenting and looking at it. And like, where's it going? Like we're thinking about version 3 and 4 inside the 4 walls. What if you talked to a headset and said, go 86, fries? Heaven forbid we ever 86 fries at one of our restaurants. Bad analogy. Right. But it went through and it updated your digital menu board or updated your point of sale system, right? Or artificial intelligence, which is already out there now in different test markets through camera systems we use, identifies the consumer they're driving up, identifies their car or their face. I can get your reflection like, hey, I'm having a great day. You're smiling. You're all frowning. It's a bad day. I don't know. Like the inflections, like all that's real life stuff that can change the experience inside the restaurant. So looking at all those facets, albeit just in QSR, we still have to serve a great product, right? We still got to make sure that the guests are happy and satisfied.
Okay. Up next is Richard Schenk, the VP of Innovation at Technomic.
In an industrial capacity, in many cases, it's very important for that person to be able to say it's time to turn the machine off because there's a screw loose, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so in this particular instance, it's important for restaurants to consider if you're going to be rolling out a lot of automated tools that are built on either generative AI or predictive modeling versions of AI.
Mm-hmm.
It's important for you to build in a human redundancy factor. So the machine isn't making all the decisions, that you have a fail-safe plan in place so that if the kitchen starts to break down, the cooks can step back in and start flipping burgers, right? And if the machine starts to stall, right? And that's something that I think the hype of AI sort of hides that fact. And the reality is when we get into the service model, we need to have that redundancy in place. Otherwise, we're going to set ourselves up to fail.
And here's Darian Bates, formerly the CTO at Ann Pizza, the current founder at Four Top Solutions. And I love what he has to say here.
I mean, I think this is where I'm going to use the dreaded word AI because it's so fraught with all these things. I was listening to a futurist talk the other day, and they were saying AI you might destroy the human species in 200 to 300 years. Not that kind of AI, but I do think it is conceptually, it's going to be AI. And it's going to be there's almost going to be a couple different species of intelligences that we'll be looking at. The one is these kind of automated decisionings that get more and more dialed in, more sophisticated, where the algorithms get more specific in what the business is trying to activate. And on the other side, I think we're going to be moving more towards these, what are called generative intelligences, which is really what we saw, if any of your audience knows about ChatGPT and that release, which is these ideas, these intelligences that can answer more open form questions. Like, what is my forecast going to be next week, right? The idea that you can ask a machine, what is my forecast going to be? Not that you have built a forecast, that you can ask them what its forecast is going to be, and they're going to apply a forecasting model as part of the intelligence that is most optimal fit. Like I think that's the direction that we're increasingly going to be going. The intelligences are there. The models to create those intelligences are real. And ChatGPT sort of demonstrates that in some ways. But if you do go look at if you ask ChatGPT what your forecast is for next week, their answer is going to be, or its answer, his answer, her answer, we don't need to gender it. The answer is going to be, I don't have access to your data. I don't know. So that access to your data is going to be, and access to data, not just having it in one place, but I was saying having it in a coherent, structured way that an intelligence can read it and do all that cross joins and do the real-time analysis to be able to provide back answers. That's going to be the difference between being able to get real insight on a second by second basis versus working in the world where you still have to ask somebody to go away for a week to bring you back a forecast when, it's likely, water under the bridge by the time you get the insight, or having to manage a team of 20 to 30 analysts at times, which is happening in some of the larger institutions. And so I think those two places of real-time automation, where you have this decisions that are being made by systems, and at the same time, the ability to ask questions of your data in increasingly sophisticated ways to get to insights at a fraction of the time that you used to, so that you can adjust your business, so that humans can make course corrections, make smarter decisions, and really do it on the advice of, I would say, expert models, which is really, I think, is a huge value there. I do have one watch out on all of that, which I think is really essential and is a big commitment that we're making as a company, because while we describe ourselves in the short term as a data enablement company, a data architecture company, we are really an AI enablement company.
And our last soundbite is from Bobby Yazdani. Bobby talks about the cognitive period. Listen up, y'all. This is really super interesting.
We are in the beginning of a new cycle again. This is what I refer to as cognitive period. What is a cognitive period? You're moving away, or not moving away, I should say you're building from an information age to the cognitive age. We couldn't get to the cognitive age unless the information age wouldn't have happened. That's the foundation that you build a cognitive. We are entering into a period where there no longer we are using technology for collection, distribution, and analyzing information. We're going to be using technology to learn in our behalf and reason in our behalf. These are reasoning systems. We've never experienced intelligent technologies where they're essentially co-piloting with us in business processes, in industries, and it's the starting of a very important period that I refer to it as a cognitive period. We wouldn't be able to get there unless we had internet, unless we had cloud, unless we had mobile. These were the foundational pieces to get us to this point. The advancement in algorithms, the advancement of management of the data, the advancement in compute with NVIDIA H100 that came in with an order of magnitude price performance and performance, we can train incredible models that can provide reasoning capabilities as a co-pilot to humans. This is not a period that you're replacing human. It's not doing that. It's actually enhancing, just like the phone has enhanced our capabilities, these intelligent technology systems would enhance us. Of course, there's a lot of positive and there's a lot of negatives in that. I don't want to discount that. We can have another podcast that I can talk to you about all of those. That's a very different thing. So we are in the beginning of this new period. And when I look at your industry, look at what's happening with voice-enabled ordering. It's an AI system. You look at, the other day we were looking at some technologies that are enhancing predictive capabilities so you can prepare things better for your customers from a standpoint of supply chain, from a standpoint of preparing things in the kitchen, and so on and so forth. These are predictive systems. These are AI-enabled systems. And be able to help essentially next generation payment systems even would be interesting. Though there are many areas that AI is going to impact. and AI is going to impact this industry.
Okay, well, that's a wrap on our AI focused series. I would be remiss if I didn't let you all know that our 2024 State of Digital, our 5th annual State of Digital report, has just dropped. One of our key findings of the 6 top trends is around AI. And what we had to say about AI in the report is quite interesting because the data is reflecting what operators have told us far and wide are their priorities for AI in 24. Number one on the list is AI-driven analytics. 50% of the respondents in the report said they will be prioritizing AI analytics as part of their strategy in 2024. After analytics is AI-driven voice ordering, 46%, followed by dynamic pricing. There's been a lot of news about dynamic pricing recently, whether you use that term or another term. That's surge pricing is the other term. 39% of respondents said they will be looking into that strategy. Next, we have AI-driven kitchen and production optimization. I thought this one would be a little higher, but only 27% are focused there. We believe that there's a lot of opportunity there, particularly when it comes to improving order accuracy. Next, we have AI-driven computer vision. 20% are pursuing that as an AI strategy. And lastly is robotics. 13% selected robotics. So what we're really seeing with AI is we're largely in this kind of wait and see stage, but we do believe that tech companies really need to step up with AI adoption. The restaurant industry is still nascent with AI, but it's really incumbent, we believe, on tech companies like our own to incorporate AI solutions into our product. So we're really making that the mandate for tech companies to step up and get more strategic with AI and providing cost-effective strategies to add value quickly. We do expect to see new success stories emerging around demand prediction, efficiencies in the drive-through, potentially workforce management we're hearing, and labor allocations. So keep your eyes out this year for more AI priorities and success stories, and check out Q's 2024 5th Annual State of Digital. AI was just one of the 6 trends that we presented data around and findings around. So go online, check out our website, qbeyond.com. Let me know what you think of the report, and stay classy. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for checking out this episode of Restaurants Reinvented. This show is brought to you by Q, a restaurant tech company paving a brighter future for operators with the industry's first unified commerce platform. If you enjoyed what you learned in this episode, make sure to follow Restaurants Reinvented in your favorite podcast app or visit qbeyond.com, that's QUBEYOND.com /podcast to find all of your latest episodes.